Greetings, Bond fans, Britannians, Odd Squad, friends all. I'm just brainstorming ideas for my #Black Bond project. Code name on His Majesty Secret Service. And it's a workshop I'm prepared to open up to the floor. Okay, this is just some of my ideas for how we pull off an independently funded, most importantly, permission granted from the Fleming estate, permission sought and permission granted from the Fleming estate. All we need is the Fleming estate's blessing to do an independent Bond and make him black. For goodness sake. You cannot bandy about the biggest black name in Hollywood since Denzel Washington for 10 long years in the same sentence as, oh, what are you ever going to do about this James Bond role, Idris? Do you fancy a poke at James Bond, Idris? You can't dog the man for 10 years with speculation. Look at what happened at the missed opportunity with Clive Owen. That is all I'm going to say. Everything Clive Owen has done outside of never being Bond is as shoot 'em up is as good as, if not better, than a Bond. Croupier and shoot 'em up together, what a two-hander. Clive Owen is the man who never was Bond, and it was a total missed opportunity. So to go ahead with a white Bond, for me, is apocryphal. Absolutely apocryphal. Another white Bond, no doubt he's going to be having a cheeky vape and he'll look like no bigger cupcake Commander James Bond in his entire Royal Navy career. Another pale-faced, alky, lechy Bond. I ain't got no time for that. I ain't got no time for that. So here, on Britannia Pictures, we present our version. Now, here is a very interesting and vitally good point. If I know my oats, and I know my oats, me maresy dotes and dozy dotes and little lambsy divey, regard For Your Eyes Only by Ian Fleming, who was a special agent in World War II. Now, For Your Eyes Only is a collection, an anthology. Listen to this blurb. Well, what does it say on the cover? Executioner, spy catcher, spectacular exploits of Britain's agent extraordinary. 5 further episodes in the life of James Bond, secret agent. And get this, guys, there is a title, View to a Kill's in there, Live and Let Not, hang on. I've lost the index. View to a Kill's in there, and then of course, A View to a Kill started life as a short story, basically, that was exploded into Grace Jones climbing up the Eiffel Tower with Roger Moore. For Your Eyes Only started life as a short story. A Quantum of Solace is in actual fact a short story, but the only resemblance it bears to the short story, the Daniel Craig era movie, is the title and nothing more. There are, ladies and gentlemen, Bond fans, there are two as yet unadapted James Bond short stories. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you which one of the two we're going to go ahead and do pre-credits for On His Majesty's Secret Service. It is a short story entitled Risico, and it involves an Italian-run heroin ring and warehouse takedown. In Risico, Bond takes out a heroin factory full of henchmen. There's the table of contents that fell out of for Ian Fleming's. I rest my case, ladies and gentlemen. Who's for Risico? Who's for seeing Risico on screen as a short for a start? Because then you've also got the Hildebrand rarity, which is more of a mouthful, isn't it? The Hildebrand rarity. But it's a James Bond short. No need to flesh it out. Verbatim on screen, a James Bond short by Ian Fleming. That's how we roll at Britannia Pictures. Verbatim. If you are lucky enough to have a source material, people, it is sacrosanct. You do not nix lines of dialogue. Absolutely never nix a line of dialogue, because it is in the dialogue that an author comes to life. It is in the dialogue that an author's story takes life. Never nix a word of dialogue from a verbatim adaptation, because the way Fleming describes the scene in every scene and sets the scene in every chapter, I want that translated on the screen verbatim, as the room is described from the time of day to the birds' song in the trees. It's all on page, it's all on paper, and we owe it to Ian Fleming's estate, and we owe it to the man himself to put it all up on the screen. So on His Majesty's Secret Service, my idea is this. We frame it, okay? We open the White Cliffs of Dover and Big Driss. Abseiling down them. He jumps onto the pebbly, shaly beach of Dover. Crunch, crunch, crunch. You mostly see, like a Goldeneye approach. You mostly see shadows of him, glimpses of him, but you can see he ain't white. FFS, at last, as Etta James once sang. Right, shadowy figure, boom, 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 boom. You can bung him in a tux. It's as simple as that, isn't it? And you know it's Bond, whoever's playing him, right? So you see boots on the ground, you see gravel on the ground, and and the camera is on the pebbles and the shale, and the surf, and Bond's boots, right? Then, audibly, there's a huge exchange of fire. And all we see is Bond's 2 shells he squeezes off on the pebbles in the foam before we see droplets of blood hitting the spray of the foam. Right, you've got your Bond tune playing, either the theme tune or John Barry's. Right, and Bond is not only on his last legs, but it turns out he's actually officially on his last mission. Okay, so Driss has Bond in bits on the shores of Dover. Hovercraft. He's been done by hovercraft. We all know it. The only thing that can approach Bond, he's been done by hovercrafts again. Only this time they do him for good. They're looking to plug him. We honestly don't know if Bond's going to survive the intro. Right? And then what we do is a classic trick of storytelling. We can come up for breath from a breathless heroine. I mean, that could be, you could spin it out to an entire film, Risico, but there's no point, there's no need. It was a short story, so it's perfect fodder for the perfect Bond opening. Idris takes out heroin factory workers. Yes, please. We get either Oasis to do the theme tune, or we have to really honour Sir Tom Jones and get Sir Tom back to duet, say with Jess Glynn or Emily Sandé, or the more the merrier really for sort of Bond girl levels. You know, there's just Tom, let him duet with any great British artist who wants to have a go. And you come out of the theme tune, and it'll just obviously it'll be Bond in an infirmary, not shrublands. For once, it will be Bond in an infirmary with a bib, bib, bib on him. And who comes to see him? Who comes to see him? Who do you think comes to see him? Because if you can't guess, I don't think you're a big enough Bond fan. Who comes visit Bond on his deathbed? First and foremost. Penny's there, isn't she? Right? And Bond gets to reminiscing. And then we go. Right? Royal Naval battleship. Sometime in the past. And to cut a long story short, I won't block out the entire film on this thing, but to cut a long story short, it's Cadet Bond and it's John Boyega as Cadet Bond on his first mission, as Bond reminisces about what he got up to on his first mission. Now, I know what Bond got up to on one of his first away missions as a cadet. Not only did he lose a valuable attaché case, but he also lost his virginity. So stay tuned for John Boyega's cheeky chappy charm, his upper crust class mixed with his Peckham punch. No need for an accent, John. But we'll have him multilingual in this one for realsies. Imagine Boyega's Bond delivering Japanese or talking Swedish. Boyega can do all the accents. And off we go into the body of the film. Idris has had his one and done. Idris has had his day in the sunshine. Idris has adapted Risiko as a short, if we want, alternatively. But my opening on the shores of Dover has always been one of my ideas for an opening of a Bond film. Or perhaps a credit sequence even, you know, where you don't particularly see Bond, but there's a hell of a lot of shells. As in seashells and bullet shells. Because that's Britannia. We will fight them on the beaches. So hands up who's on board with Idris Elba and John Boyega as Bond. I'm also hoping that Gary Oldman will play any role he likes. If Gary Oldman would like to play M, it would be incredible. If Gary Oldman would like to play the King, please, it would be incredible. But if Gary Oldman would like to play the bad guy, well, now we're really talking. I'd like to see McGregor as a Scottish separatist, an extremist Scottish separatist. If you're on board, Ewan. Any other ideas on casting? My idea for M actually was Jessica Ennis, because I think she could do it. Can you imagine answering to Jess Ennis? What do you reckon, Jess? Fancy giving Bond disorders? I reckon. Next thing you know, she's in the field. I think we missed a trick, Great Britain. I think we've had the wool pulled over our eyes for too long. And we're not sheep. We are a nation of wolves. A nation of lions. We are far from sheep. Let us not have the wool pulled over our eyes anymore. James Bond is dead. And there is no way the world is interested in him coming back again. Unless he's black. I rest my case. Long live the King. God save the Queen. And rule Britannia.
less. Oh, love.
Every step of the way will find us with the care of the world far behind us. Yeah, we have all the time in the world just for love, nothing more, nothing less, only love. Ba 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 ba. Only love. Lazenby's one and possibly contender for best Bond movie on Her Majesty's Secret Service, where James Bond falls in love with the daughter of the biggest mafia boss in Spain. Bond falls in love with a lady called Tracy, and they are married. Bond gets married in on Her Majesty's Secret Service to Dame Diana Rigg. Oh, be still my beating heart. And do you know what happens before Bond and his new bride are even on honeymoon? Assassins who are attempting to kill Bond fail to kill Bond and accidentally assassinate his new wife. And the movie ends with Bond and his Aston in tears. What do you reckon? Someone get Big Idris Elba's email address or Insta handle for me. By the way, Stormzy, fancy doing Black Bond? Yeah, bruv. He's sad. Right, peace out. Raw Britannia.